Figured I'd get my MOA out and play around with Dig. I used to not be a fan of it, but here lately, I love Dig, and it especially comes in handy when you don't quite have the wheelbase. So I figured I would show some examples of when Dig comes in handy and when I use it and the benefits of having it. So check this out. So this rig has front and rear dig. So here's a quick example of the benefits. So when I'm doing a breakover, if I need a little bit more ground clearance, I'll do rear dig, and it will lift the back end up a good ½ inch. And if I'm going downhill and want to drag the rear end, I'll just do front dig, and you can see it just squats the rear end, and it goes down a good ½ inch to keep that center of gravity really low. And that's really good for going down some descents and stuff. And plus, you know, it helps you do really sharp turns. But yeah, we'll do a couple breakovers and give you some examples of when I use it and the benefits. So first example, coming up this here, the wheelbase is not quite long enough to reach the lip at the top of this rock. So this is when a front dig comes in handy. You get about right here, and go ahead and hit a little bit of front dig. Yeah, you know what, let's get a little higher. And front dig right here. It's just gonna drag the rear end right up. Just enough to get it locked, to get the front end locked. And then it will just drag it right on up here. Voila! Pretty simple. Whereas, you know, without dig, you can get up it, but you really got to get it at the right angle. You've got to get it set up perfect where the front will grab the lip up top. And sometimes it's just a pain in the butt. Here's a good example of a nice little descent. I'm going to go ahead and use front dig again. Get that rear end squatted down here. That way it's dragging it. Here she goes. She's really going to squat now as soon as I break over here. And then I'm going to undo it, come a little bit further, and then we're just going to lock it right back in. And we're just going to drag it. There she goes. She's hanging. Still using front dig. Keep that rear suspension compressed. We're going to undo it. Come down ever so slightly. Let that front end touch. Drive on out of it. Alright, one more example of front dig. This is another climb that without it, it's a 1 in 10 shot of getting it, but with dig, you about get it every time. You're going to come up here and you got to make this hard turn, but where it gets you is it ends up throwing the rear end off. So when you got front dig here, you can basically bring the front end up onto top of the rock here. Go ahead and lock it in. Give it a little bit of gas here. And then undo it. Bam. There she goes. Cool little climb to watch the bent high links on how much room you have right here. Bam, just like that. So I don't use rear dig a lot. Usually I just use it to either slide the rear end over or get the ground clearance for these breakovers. So right here I usually bottom out, so I'll just go ahead and hit a little bit of rear dig. Get that rear end to come up like that. You gain about an extra inch of ground clearance. And then bam, go right on up this. And you can go ahead and see it clears the belly just fine. And you know, if I wouldn't have done that, I could have just bumped it up, but sometimes it's a lot nicer just to slow crawl it. And here's another time you could use rear dig. If you want the ass end to come over to clear a cone, or you just need to line it up a little better, a little bit of rear dig, go ahead and turn the wheels, hit rear dig. It's just going to slide that rear end right where you want it. All the way over here, undo dig, and just pull right up out of it. And one more quick example. If I want to raise the rear end for a breakover, do a little bit of rear dig. It raises that rear end right on up, and it will slide that rear end where I need it, or vice versa. Do a little bit of front dig, and it's going to lower that rear end. get that center of gravity low, and drag me wherever I want to go. A little bit of front dig. We're going to get it to lock that front end down, pull it, suck it down like that, undo it, and it should just crawl right up out of this. So, is dig necessary? It does make things a lot easier. But every line I just pulled, I could pull with my G-Speed, which don't have dig. It might just take me 4 or 5 tries. And yeah, it does get a little aggravating. But yeah, I just now started playing around with dig the last month or so with my MOA. And I like it. So, if you're thinking about getting it, I used to be against it, but I highly recommend it. But yeah, next video is going to be on my Dlux Asylum, and I hope it's everything it's cracked up to be, because people talk really highly of a Sporty, and cannot wait to get it out here on the rocks. See you guys next time.